So, despite the challenges that we've been talking about here, all of the investors on this panel are actually doing these early stage deals. And there are also non-traditional or non-VC sources of funding that can be tapped. So let's spend some time talking about how each of you who are investors are approaching this space, and some examples of early stage deals that you invested in, and in particular what characteristics made those very early deals attractive, I think would be helpful. And Graziano, why don't we begin with you, and then we'll go through our corporate VCs.
Just for clarity, the question is, how much does alternative funding help our investment decision?
The question is, how are you approaching? How are you looking at the early stage space? What are you looking for?
Oh,
how are you approaching deals? And
Okay.
maybe can you give us an example of something that illustrates
Sure.
that approach and what made it attractive?
So when we look at early stage deals, we look at it again from the potential of building a company around that investment. And so the earlier we go in that investment decision, the broader we want to see the technology and the product's applications. So from the get-go, it has to be something big that addresses very large medical needs, and it has multiple shots on goals, so that even if I take early stage risk, I don't risk everything on one single attack. I want to have multiple shots on goal. Secondarily, if we don't look just from a technology perspective, we can also look from a management perspective, and then we can go as early as having nothing, and then invest in management that we really like, and in general with people that we know very well and we've worked with in the past. Two examples that I can give are a seed investment out of Cambridge called Mission Therapeutics, which is a company that we've done actually with our colleagues here at Roche. Very early stage. God knows if it will work or not. But if it did work, it would really, really bring forward new medicines in oncology. It's been set up by Steve Jackson, who is a very prominent scientist who has already done a biotech, who has already sold a biotech, who came with a couple of colleagues from that biotech to set it all up. So much easier decision management-wise, still a very hard decision on our side to take that bet because it's very early stage. So we will see in 5 years if we were right. On the completely opposite spectrum is what we did here in Italy, for example, in a company called EOS that we recently transacted to Clovis in the US. It was just an idea from management that we really liked. We have worked with them in the past. We thought we made money with them in the past. We thought we could make money again with them, and we just seeded the company with, I think, a couple of $100,000 to start with, so that they could go around and look for what they wanted to look for, which was, at that time, addressing the valley of death in oncology. It was not that easy a story as it sounds at the end, because there were ups and downs, like you always have in biotech. But we were convinced we were on the right track. We continued, and eventually it became a pretty good success for us and a great return. But those are two examples of very early stage technology or very, very strong management team.
Ilka, you've done several investments now out of Boehringer Ingelheim, and all preclinical, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit about what kinds of things you're looking for, and maybe give us an example?
Yeah, I think when I look at our very early stage activities, it looks like that there are two driving forces. One is we have an idea within our investment focus, what we want to do. And then we basically screen for investment opportunities, and for several reasons we cannot find the right company to invest in, and there were two occasions when we then on our own just started basically and created a company. One example is in hearing loss, Acusia, which we started from scratch after having looked at many different opportunities in the indication area. And the second one is that we wanted to invest in ADC, antibody drug conjugate company, and also couldn't find, the right company vehicle, to invest in. So that's also an example which we started and created basically, and put together the components in a company. And on the other hand, it's like opportunistic. We see ideas and we get ideas on very early stage projects, I would say, in the beginning, which we feel are very innovative and promising, but on the other hand, very high risk. And one example is a very early stage company we started together with a corporate venture fund in the area of cancer metabolism, with 3 well-connected and respected founders in the area, and a very interdisciplinary approach, also based on something which is known from epigenetics, and the concept of synthetic lethality, and that was very compelling for us. And so there is not much to build on, but a very good scientific founder team and a very bright strategy, and we are prepared to take it up. So these are basically the routes we follow when we do very early things.